does your money go? Bills. I asked this question to a group of people the other time, and somebody said 80% of their income goes back home to take care of family back home. And I said, how do you leave? You can't say the bank is screwing you over. You took the card and you made some purchases for things you don't need, the money you don't have, to pay for a life you cannot afford. And then you're getting mad that you're sending money to the bank to pay for your stupidity. A lot of people are not willing to be uncomfortable to get what they want because you care too much about what people think about you. I don't. You need to get to a place where you're comfortable with people not liking you. You need to get to a place where you're comfortable with people talking BS about you. So long as you know what you're doing, so long as you know you're not hurting anybody, you're doing what is good for you, be okay with that because you can't please everybody. You need to start living. You need to stop surviving and actually start living because you have something in you which is uniquely you. Hey guys, my name is Ida and I'm coming here from Montreal today. I have a 9-to-5 job. I'm self-employed. I have a 9-to-5 job. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I'm a wife. I'm an accountant. I'm a financial coach. I'm a mindset enthusiast. How do I get to do all of those? Because I think it's important. If you decide that something is important, you're going to make time for it. So right now, I am on a mission to bridge the gap between financial inclusion and financial education. What does that even mean? When you come from a country like me, I came directly here from Cameroon. And when I got here, I got financial inclusion. Financial inclusion pretty much means that now you have access to funds that you don't necessarily, or you did not necessarily have before. You have access to those funds. But that inclusion doesn't always come with education. And because of that, a lot of people find themselves in a financial mess. Because you bring somebody who doesn't have any money, and you give them a credit card and say, hey, go use it. And they don't teach you how do you use your credit card. And because that happens, people end up with a lot of debt. Most people who here got the advice that said, just pay your minimum and you're going to be fine. I did. Who here got the advice that when they send you a letter in the mail, which is a credit card offer, accept it? I did. And when I asked the question, what does that mean? They said, it just means you're in good standing. So accept every single credit card that's offered to you because it just means you are in good standing. And all you have to do is pay the minimum and you're going to be fine. Well, I did that and I ended up with $60,000 in debt. Some of you out here might be in that position right now. And that's why I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between financial inclusion and financial education because that piece is missing. So like I said, I'm a mom of 3, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an accountant, financial coach, mindset coach. I came here in 2010 and I want to change people's lives through financial education because I know that if you have the financial education that you need, you are going to make different choices. Choices that are more whole for yourself. You're not going to do something because somebody said go do it. You're going to do it because you know that that is the right thing for you. Because when you do those things, you know where you're going and you know the things that are going to take you to that place. And so if you have financial education, you can regain control of your life and you can create the life that you love. Where does your money go? Bills. I asked this question to a group of people the other time and somebody said 80% of their income goes back home to take care of family back home. And I said, how do you leave? If you're going to send 80% of your income to take care of your family in Africa, or back home, in China, wherever, how do you leave? The only reason you're able to continue to exist, even though you're sending 80% of your money back home, is because you have a piece of plastic in your pocket and nobody ever taught you how to use. And you were spending all of that money, thinking you have money, because you can spend money you don't have. So by the end of the slide, I want to know, where does your money go? Answer that question for yourself. Where does your money go? He's not very happy. Credit card annual fees. Interest. Cash advance. These are useless expenses to me. Because it doesn't add any value to you. But a lot of people pay this. You pay this. You probably pay more than $200 in interest every single month on your credit card. Overdraft fees. NSF. Useless expense. It doesn't add any value to you. But every single time you let your bank account go into overdraft, you're giving money to the bank for nothing. Who here has a gym membership and they never ever go to the gym? You're wasting your money. And you don't need a gym membership to do exercise. If you're broke, get outside and walk and cancel this. That's a big one, supporting family back home. I can't tell you not to support your family back home, but I can tell you, if you don't take care of yourself, you're soon going to resent your family back home. We don't like to hear that, but that's the truth. And you can tell yourself, well, it's my duty. Well, your first duty is to you. Your first duty is to you. We've been trained to believe that taking care of family back home is our first responsibility, but it's not. Your first responsibility is to take care of you. So if 80% of your income is going to supporting family back home, you need to start having a different conversation. Other people's emergencies. Has somebody ever called you to say, I have an emergency, I need to get some money from you, and that money never ever comes back to you? It's not your emergency. If you're taking care of other people's emergencies, you will not have the money to take care of your own emergency. So if your money is going there, you need to start having some new conversations. I'm not saying don't take care of people, but I'm saying other people's emergencies are not your emergencies. It might sound harsh, but it's the truth. Entertainment, partying when you were broke. Who here has had lots of summer parties this year? Nobody? If you have credit card debt, you have debt, and you're doing entertainment and parties while you're broke, you're putting yourself in a deeper hole. And all of those things you can completely live without. I haven't said don't buy food. I haven't said don't go to the hospital. I haven't said don't take care of your family. No. If your money goes to all of those places and you're broke, Ida says you need to stop. Vacations and traveling back home every single year. Some people do that. Let me tell you something, and I'm not prescribing this for anyone, but I haven't gone back home since I came. But I talk to my family every single day. I don't have to physically go back home to prove anything to anybody. These all come down to priorities. You don't have to go back home every single year. But some people have that on their calendar for every single year. And creating a fake persona in order to impress people. If you're driving a Mercedes, nothing against Mercedeses. If you're driving a Mercedes, what's wrong with a Toyota? If you're broke and you're driving a Mercedes, there's something going on in here. Who knows what a gazania spin is? You know some of those things that you have in every single color in your closet, and every time you see another one, you go and buy them? That's your gazania spin. There's no reason you're buying those. I used to buy sunglasses all the time. I used to buy gadgets every single time. But those are just gazania spins. Too much house and to the garbage. What is too much house? If you're spending more than 25% of your take-home pay on housing, too much house. And the last thing is to the garbage. What does that even mean? We go every day to the grocery shop, we buy a lot of groceries, we come home, we stock up our refrigerator so it's gonna look good. At the end of the week, where does it go? It's spoiled. It goes in the garbage. If your money goes there, you're the only one who's making it to go there. You are causing yourself to be broke. So I hope you can write down on a piece of paper where your money goes and start to take inventory for yourself and see what changes you need to make. I started by identifying where I was on this immigrant cycle and where I fell off. I came from here, had a host family that was amazing. I started with a degrading job at a telco. Who here has worked at a telco in Montreal? Call center. People say all sorts of things to you on the phone. Go back to your country. Lots of things, right? I was an accountant back home. I worked in a multinational company. I was the accountant there, and I had people under me. Lots of you guys can relate to that. And I came in, and I was working at a place where they would insult me for my accent, insult me for not knowing which direction Saskatchewan is located in. Is it east or west? I don't know. I'm a new immigrant. I don't know. I went back to school because my accounting degree was not equivalent to the accounting degree here. I had to go back to school to learn accounting so I could be equivalent to the ones here. Right here, I chose to get out. So there's no way, with all the things I know, there's no way I need to go to school to prove that I know the things that I know. I got out here. And so I had a bit of student loans, I had a credit card debt, but I broke my cycle right here. There was no graduation. My mom is still mad at me, but I'm okay. You guys have to make that decision in your minds to be okay with certain things. It's your life, it's not anybody else's life. Figure out wherever you are on the cycle and break out of it. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but you need to do it. If you want to change it, you need to do it. And only if you do that, can you go from surviving to thriving. Because right now we are surviving. A lot of people are just surviving. And if you're in survival mode, you shut down your brain. Your brain cannot do the things it's supposed to do because the brain is created, and I'm no scientist, but I've read about this. The brain is created to keep you keep you surviving, right? It's there to protect you from any imminent threat. So if your threat is the threat of financial security, your brain is going to be in that mode of trying to protect you from everything else. And so you don't think of anything else apart from surviving. But you can go from surviving to thriving and become the person that you were meant to be. But it's on you, it's not on anybody else.
Ida, I would love to hear from yourself what kind of put you on this path of being excited for financial literacy and why it becomes so important for you to be teaching and sharing that on a day-to-day basis with others.
Well, first of all, because my background is in accounting, I kind of thought that I knew things that I was supposed to know, but recognizing that I didn't know those things, even though I technically should have known them, I started to ask myself, like, what about the people who don't even know where to look for the information? And because it's something that I personally struggle with, because like I said, I mentioned before, my personal journey, just doing the things that other people said to do, I had $60,000 in debt between credit cards and car loans that rolled into each other. And I knew the feeling that it gave me and my husband. I was like, okay, I don't like this feeling. I need to change it. And in changing it and in applying the things that work for me, and I look around and I see people in the same situation, I'm like, okay, I need to share this information because I have this gift for a reason. I can speak, I can influence people, I can do stuff. A lot of you guys have probably seen me on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. I'm everywhere. Wherever you are, you're going to see me. Because this information, I didn't have the person that, I didn't have an Ida or a Kennedy when I moved to Canada. So I want to be that person for the other people who are coming in.
That's awesome. For yourself, Ida, though, I was curious on you from your journey and where you've been. What would you say is like that bigger differentiator for yourself of that people could really, if they started to do this one thing, it would help them like start shifting their mindset to get to financial freedom? Like you've talked with a lot of people, so what would be like that one thing?
The first thing is really just awareness. A lot of people have no idea anything about their own money, nothing. You ask a person, how much do you spend on groceries a month? Who knows how much you spend on groceries a month? Show of hands, you know?
Show of hands, there we go, a couple hands, yeah.
Amazing. But that is something which is extremely important to you. So for me, the first thing is always about creating awareness. Because some people, I spoke to somebody not too long ago, he says that he's a refugee, his mom came over as a refugee, and he's just never cared about money because he thinks money is not important. And so he says, how do you help somebody who doesn't care about money? How do you make them care? And I said, well, first thing is just awareness. I don't want you to care about it. I want you to know where it goes.
Smart.
And when you start looking and you see where it goes, and then you ask yourself, is this really where I want my money to go? And if it is, fine, you're doing good. If it's not, for most people, it's not. But they've never ever created the awareness to know that this is actually how I spend my money. Yeah. And what you put your money on, it just shows like your priorities, you know. If you're spending all your money on, I don't know, booze, there's nothing wrong with booze. But if you're spending all your money on booze, then you can be complaining that you don't have money to do this other thing because you're using it on this one. Yeah. So it's just about creating that awareness, the first thing for most people. So when it comes to personal finance, financial literacy, what is really at stake? This is a kid with cancer. Who here has lost somebody to a deadly disease? Cancer, something, a friend, a neighbor? I have. A lot of people have. What has this got to do with financial literacy? Here's my belief. I truly believe that the person who has the solution to this problem is stuck somewhere in debt. Is stuck somewhere in a pile of financial mess. Has a lot of student loans, and they cannot think of anything else other than paying off the student loans, other than making the next extra dollar. They went to school, they have all the knowledge they need, they have the skills and the things they need, but all they could think of is the debt. And as long as people continue to think only about survival, we're going to continue to have problems like this. I can't solve cancer. I can't. That's not my calling. But that's the calling of somebody probably sitting in this room. And if you can get yourself to a place where you don't have to worry about survival, then you can start to solve problems like this. So what's at stake? Humanity is at stake. And so sometimes you would just sit and you would have a little idea just come to you. And Kennedy and I were talking not long ago, and I said, and he was about to talk, I said, hey, stop. And it's like, what's going on? I said, I saw a picture in my head and I need to tell you what I saw. And he started talking, I said, no, you need to stop and listen. Because those ideas come in flashes. And if you cannot quiet your mind enough to get those ideas from your head to paper, it's gone. But the ideas are going to keep coming. And as long as your mind is too busy to listen, it's never going to get from idea to action. So what is really at stake? Everything. I need us to go from surviving to thriving. I spend a lot of time on TikTok. Who has seen me on TikTok? Yeah. Facebook. You guys have a lot of that. And some people are saying, how do you get the time to do this? So I said, well, it makes me happy, so I do it. And a lot of my videos, I'm sitting in my car. Why am I doing that? I'm coming from home. I drop my kids at daycare. When I'm driving, ideas come to me. You need to identify the time when ideas come to you. Whenever I'm driving, ideas come to me. And so, with my kid in the car, yes, I'm having a conversation with them, but I have something that I need to put to paper, if not, it's gone. And so once I drop my son at daycare, I get in the car, I press my dashboard, and I speak. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30, 40. Sometimes I will sit there for 8 minutes. Yes, I'm going to go late to work, 10 minutes late, because I need to get that message out. And I'm okay with that. Because for me, it's important. Because I know that the one person who is going to see that information is going to change their life. Somebody who's making a little bit less today and who's having maybe a little bit less in the CCB for whatever reason and has no idea why the Canada Child Benefit is going down. They don't know that it's because of X, Y, Z that has happened. If that message gets to them, it can make a difference for them. And so I would press my record and I'll speak a message for a minute and I'll post it on TikTok. And some people are going to come and say, hey, you're trying to scheme the government. Well, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. So even when you're doing something good, and I'm speaking to my brother over there in the blue, even when you're doing something good, there are people who are still not going to appreciate you for what you're doing. So you might as well just do you. So long as it brings you fulfillment, so long as you know that that is part of your thriving. Because I know I am becoming the person I am meant to be. I'm not even near it. I know there's still so much more. And there's so much more for all of you. But lots of people have stopped dreaming. because they're trying to survive. So let's get from surviving to thriving. That's my financial journey, like I said. I started off with more than, I forgot to put a plus there. It's $60,000 plus. I stopped calculating. It's $60,000 plus in debt. And that was between my credit cards. That credit card started off as a $1,000 secure credit card when I just got to Canada. A secure credit card. Who else had a secure credit card? Yeah. It pretty much means when you go to the bank to open up to get a credit card, they say you need to put down that amount of money in order for us to give you that kind of credit card. And I was coming from Cameroon, and yes, I had a good job, and so I had the money. So I put down $1,000. I put like a lot of money in the bank, and I gave them. I said, "Yeah, take the $1,000 and put it and give me the credit card," because the people that I met said they need to get a credit card, and so I got it. And I said, "Okay, now I have it. How do I use it?" I said, "Oh, just use it. They're going to send you a bill at the end of the month, and then you need to at least pay the minimum." What should they have said? Pay your bill. But they said, "No, pay the minimum." Because that's what somebody else had told them. And that's the same thing I might have told a lot of people before learning the lesson of this. My first car, I paid cash for it, $3,000. And at some point I was like, I want a new car. I went into the dealership, sign here. I signed. And I drove out with the car. A few years later, the car was beginning to give me some troubles. And I said, well, we just need to go and trade in the car. I went in to trade the car. And for the car I wanted to get, they said if you give like $20 more, you could get a better car, a newer one. And so I did. Nobody tells you what the actual cost of the car is, but they tell you what you're gonna pay every 2 weeks. And so I took it. And then down the road, this is my stupid mistake. Down the road, we're having our third kid. And the car seats could not fit properly in the back row that we needed them to. So I got a new car. Stupid car. I hadn't finished paying off the other one, but they said, well, we could roll over the balance you have on the car. We could roll it onto the new one, and it's just gonna be like $20 more. I said, yeah, I'll take it. I took a brand new car. I drove it out of the dealership. And so when I started getting, my husband and I, when we started getting intentional with our money, and we said, okay, I said, we make too much money to be living paycheck to paycheck. We make too much money to be broke. What is going on? And so when we started putting things down, that was the day I actually checked the car documents, and I'm an accountant. That was the day I checked the car documents to see how much that car actually cost us. $45,000 for a car. And I had paid that car for more than a year, and I still owed them more than $39,000 on the car. Yep. It was $49,000 because there were balances rolled onto it. And this might be the story for a lot of you. If you don't know about, just go check your papers. Just check it. And so the day we did the totals and it was like $60,000 and counting, I said, okay, you know what, stop. I said, we're taking this car back to the dealership. And my husband said, no, we're not. I said, yes, we are. So we've kind of just went back and forth on that. Finally, I said, if we can pay this car off within 2 years and everything else within 2 years, I'm okay keeping it. But if we do our numbers and we cannot pay it off in 2 years, it needs to go. And I was willing to go back to a basic car because I wanted to get rid of that. A lot of people are not willing to be uncomfortable to get what they want because you care too much about what people think about you. I don't. You need to get to a place where you're comfortable with people not liking you. You need to get to a place where you're comfortable with people talking BS about you. So long as you know what you're doing, so long as you know you're not hurting anybody, you're doing what is good for you, be okay with that because you can't please everybody. We paid it all off within 2 years because we set the goal. It's gone. And right now, I'm spreading a message to empower my community because I know there's nobody out there doing this. I know it's a calling in my heart. And that's why I'm doing this. Nobody's paying me money to come out here and speak in public like this. I like to do it. And Kennedy likes to do it. And so we collaborate on things like this. Because we know by being the people we were not for our community, we can create wealth for the community. The next goal, like I said, he is FI, financially independent, I'm not yet. But that's the goal. And once that happens, massive impact. You guys are gonna see me everywhere. It's a burning desire in me, and I hope each and every one of you has a burning desire in you. If you don't, you need to figure it out. You need to start living. You need to stop surviving and actually start living, because you have something in you which is uniquely you. So how can you take back control of your money? Because once you take back control of your money, you can regain control of your life. You truly can. There are 6 simple principles I'm going to share with you guys, and if you implement this, you are going to regain control of your money and your life. Because guess what? The person who controls your money basically controls your life. So if you can take back that control, you will take back your life. You will do the things you want, not because of a paycheck, but because it's what's deep down in you. It's what gives you satisfaction. If you think that's a party every week, fine, I doubt it. The party is one of those things that we just use to numb ourselves, because we're deeply unsatisfied with who we are truly. I haven't been to a party in years. And people will look at me and like, you're crazy. I say, no, it just doesn't bring me any satisfaction. I go on social media, I'm live pretty much every week, go on live and I'm talking, and I'm like, Ida, that's tiring. I said, no, my life is tiring for you, but it's exciting for me. You need to figure out what excites you, and you need to do it. And find a way to serve people doing that. So the first thing that you need to do to regain control of your finances is, number 1, to create awareness on your spending. Create awareness on your spending. The slide I did before about where your money goes, combine that with this one, you will figure out for yourself, where does your money go? Create awareness on your spending. It's not about caring. It's not about being in love with money. First of all, some people are going to say the love of money is the root of evil. We've all heard that. It's not. It's the lack of money that is the root of evil. Because when you lack it, you're constantly focusing on getting it. But when you love it, you can figure out a way to make it while serving people doing it. But somehow religion has twisted that in our minds, that the love of money is the root of all evil. It's twisted it in our minds that money can buy happiness. Well, it does. It just doesn't buy you fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from within. But if you can stop believing the lies that the love of money is the root of evil, and what's the other one? Money doesn't buy happiness. Stop believing those lies and start to tell yourself different things. Create awareness around your spending. Eliminate the useless expenses. There are lots of useless expenses. I listed a few of them. Useless expenses are the ones that add no value at all in your life. That's something very simple you can do. NSF fees, bank charges. There are some bank charges you gotta pay for, but a lot of them you don't need to pay for. You might be at a bank account just because you might be using a particular bank just because that's the bank that people told you to go and open your account at when you came here. But that bank is charging you crazy fees. You might still have a bank account that charges you fees, but that same bank offers you the option to have a fee-less bank account. You just need to know how many transactions you can put through that. It's about understanding the system. Eliminate the useless expenses. And in addition to those ones that are completely useless in general, there are some expenses that are useless to individuals. For me, spending money on alcohol is useless, but it's useful for some people. I would eliminate that from my budget, but if it's important to you, include it in yours. It's about creating a life that is for you. Spending money on certain luxury items, for me, it's useless. For some people, it gives them satisfaction. Create awareness around your spending. Eliminate the useless expenses for yourself. Number 1 and number 2. The third one is discuss your long-term goals. This is a conversation that people don't have. If you're a couple, have you ever asked yourself what your husband's long-term goal really is? Or if you're or the husband, have you asked your wife what her long-term goal really is? And are you guys working towards, are your goals aligned, first of all? And are you guys working towards those goals? If you can discuss your long-term goals, then it gets easier to discuss the finances around those long-term goals. It gets easier to kind of streamline the things you're supposed to be doing now in order to attain those goals that you have set for yourself. The next thing is to pay off your debt. Don't carry a balance on your credit card. You're paying a lot of fees. Something that should give you a reality check, if you look at the back of your credit card statement, it actually tells you if you only pay the minimum on your credit card every single month, it's going to take you, say you have a $24,000 credit card, it's going to take you like 25 plus years to pay it off. You really want to be paying off for your past life? You want to be paying that 25 years into the future? Think about those things. And the information is there. It's on the back. You cannot say the bank did not tell you. But it's written in tiny print, so you don't see it. And most people don't even open up their statements because they are afraid of the monster that's waiting for them. But who created the monster? You did. You can't say the bank is screwing you over. You took the card and you made some purchases for things you don't need, with money you don't have, to pay for a life you cannot afford. And then you're getting mad that you're sending money to the bank to pay for your stupidity. Sorry for using that word, but that was me. That was me. Create healthy boundaries. This is a difficult one for a lot of people. And when I talk of boundaries, a boundary is not a wall. It's not about blocking things. It's about knowing the things that you allow and the things that you don't allow. You really, really need to set boundaries. And the common one that I want a lot of people to set is in terms of the kind of support that you're going to give to family. I want you to support your family, but I want you to have a boundary around that. Because people are going to call you to say, hey, I need X amount of dollars for this emergency. You don't even know if truly it's an emergency. Maybe it is. Is it your emergency? You have to make that distinction and then make a conscious choice within your boundaries to help. Don't help out of a feeling of some obligation. Your first obligation is to you, your kids, your spouse. Taking care of your parents is a cultural thing which we have accepted. It's not your duty, but it's a nice thing to do. But if you cannot take care of your four walls, you cannot be taking care of somebody else's four walls. So if you're choosing to take care of your family, something up here has to go. You can't have it all if you don't have the money to have it all. You have to set yourself up to have it all. And the last one and the most important one, be a lifelong learner. That is the thing that was a game changer for me. I came across a guy who's called Dave Ramsey. Who's heard of him? You've heard of him. Awesome. I was living my life on borrowed money until I read his book, The Total Money Makeover. It's like, it tells you, in plain terms, no sugarcoating, no nothing. He tells you right off the bat, like it's like, okay, it's dumb to spend money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't even like. Why do we do that? We do it all the time. We really, really do it all the time. And the reason I mentioned Dave Ramsey is I learned from him. And it's using his baby step 1, 2, 3 that we were able to pay off our debt. Some of his methods are extreme. I like them, but it doesn't necessarily apply to everybody. Because if you have a goal of building a credit score, then you need to use your credit card. And so that is against his system, but it's about understanding what you want and seeing how it applies to you. So I've gone really quickly across over all of this for time constraints, but those are things that are really, really important for us to be able to do. If you can simply apply those 6 principles in your life today, starting from today, not tomorrow, today you have a piece of paper, write one thing that you're going to take care of today when you leave here. Just write it down. Because if you write it down, then you're promising yourself you're going to do it. If you keep it in your head, guess what? When you step out of here, you're going to see, oh, the gas prices went up, and you're going to forget that you made a commitment to yourself just now. So write it down. Write down one commitment from here, at least of something you're going to start to take care of from here. And make sure you start to do this for yourself if you want to regain control of your finances and to change your life, because the fate of humanity depends on you becoming the person that you were meant to be. If you love this video, check out the next one right here next to me.